Yes or no, Memphis makes the NCAA tournament just for fun. Right now, this morning, let's say it. Memphis.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And the reason I would say yes is because regardless of what happens Saturday, they play Tennessee in Nashville, and that game suddenly is among the most interesting games of the weekend for a lot of different reasons. Among them, Tennessee's point guard is Kennedy Chandler, my little homie from Memphis.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, my little homie from Memphis. It's terrific. But regardless of what happens in that one, they're going to get in the league and they're just going to overwhelm almost everybody if he continues to play the right people and keeps the rotation short and keeps people happy. And one of the things I noticed last night, and this is the biggest difference about being in the building as opposed to watching on TV. When you're in the building, especially when you're courtside, you can just see things that you don't see on TV. And boy, if I were coaching that team or on the staff of that team, my priority right now would be we got to keep DeAndre Williams engaged. We got to keep his spirit in a good place. He plays with so much energy. He described himself afterwards as the leader of the team. I'll let other people speak to that. I don't know who the leader of the team is. Although if you're 26, you should be. But
25 apparently. Penny doesn't. We've got feedback in the chat. Not 26. And Penny might need to know his oldest player's age, but yeah, apparently 25.
I apologize on behalf of Penny Hardaway.
You do not need to.
For misrepresenting DeAndre Williams' age, but he did say 26 last night. He plays with incredible energy when he's engaged. Plays with, is intense on the defensive end, intense on the offensive end, and I do think that stuff rubs off on other people. And so, I'm not saying he's got to lead you in minutes per game, although he should. I just know he needs to feel like he's a part of it. He needs to feel like he matters, because last night it was very clear he felt like he mattered, and the team just looked different. It just played with a different energy and a different spirit. And, I tweeted last night at the buzzer, DeAndre Williams, last season's best player, led the way for the Tigers, got whatever he got, 20 points. It was 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, something like that. And somebody with the last name Williams on Twitter, replied to my tweet and was like, when you play him the right way, that's what he'll do. And somebody was like, the next person was like, hey, your boy played great tonight. So I don't know if it was DeAndre Williams' mom, but it felt like it might have been. Certainly somebody related to DeAndre Williams. And I think that says something too. Like even somebody who seemed to be related to DeAndre Williams was like, when you give him the opportunity, that's what he'll do. And even Penny last night had said, DeAndre's been down in the dumps. We had to pull him out of that. We had to pull ourselves out of that. And I think the easiest way to pull somebody out of the dumps, somebody like him, just put him on the court and let him play and tell him this is his team. Maybe Emoni Bates will be the 6th pick in the draft someday and Jalen Duren will be the 8th or whatever. 1st and 2nd. I don't care. But DeAndre Williams might be the key to this basketball team really being really good. He was the key last season, and he was undeniably the key last night.
And team, you said yes to the NCAA tournament. I asked the question. It would be only fair if I answered it. Right now, I will say yes as well by narrow margins. Mark me down for Memphis as a double-digit seed, maybe even like going to Dayton kind of deal. I don't expect the Tigers to beat Tennessee, but if they can make up for it in league play and really be, if Houston's going to be the best team and Memphis can get ahead of Wichita State and everyone else and be a clear number 2 in the American, that's kind of what I'm still banking on here. Wake us up in 6 weeks and see how wrong or not we were about that. Then, yes, I think that's going to get them in. Had the Tigers lost on Tuesday night, my answer would be no. I think the home win over Alabama, which I do anticipate is going to win the SEC, that's going to carry tremendous value. And so, yes, by a narrow margin, I'm not overly confident, which is kind of crazy because Memphis was a preseason top 15 team. I will also say that this team is going to make the tournament. But it's also an indictment on the program when we're talking on December 15th about a preseason top 10, top 15 team and asking the question, are they even going to make the tournament there? So still plenty of work to do.
It might sound crazy on a surface level for you to say last night was the difference between making the tournament and not making the tournament, because last night was December 14th. But I really don't think that's an overstatement. Like if Memphis played in the ACC or the SEC, then I'd be like, whatever happened last night, they still got plenty of opportunities in front of them. In the AAC, After last night, Memphis has 3 games left against top 50 KenPom teams. 2 against Houston and 1 against Tennessee on Saturday in Nashville. And oh, by the way, that's if they play them. I mean, this COVID thing is wreaking havoc on sports. And we don't know what games are going to be played and what games aren't going to be played. So you can look at it and go, well, Memphis has got 2 Houston games. Well, do they? I mean, they're on the schedule. We'll see. And so if you lose last night and take a 5th loss, and your best win going into this weekend is against a Virginia Tech team that, we'll see. We'll see how good they are. Computer numbers, at least at KenPom, still relatively strong, but not off to, didn't get off to a great start this season. What do you have to do in the AAC to create an at-large resume? If you've already lost to Iowa State, Murray State, Georgia, Ole Miss, and if you would have lost to Alabama last night, is beating Tennessee and Houston once, is that good enough? And that doesn't even take into account you're almost certainly going to lose games you're not supposed to lose in the league. Basically, everybody does every year. So you're going to lose a SMU game or a Wichita State game or a whatever game. The Memphis lost to Tulsa twice last season. So I really do think last night was a big, big deal in terms of setting themselves up to give themselves a chance to make the NCAA tournament. And if you were watching that game, it seemed pretty clear, nearly from the jump, that one team was desperate to not waste another resume building opportunity. And the other team looked to me like a team that understood, we've already beat Gonzaga, we've already beat Houston, we've got an SEC schedule in front of us. Losing on the road in a hostile environment to a preseason top 15 long-term isn't going to be the biggest deal in the world.